Imagine two people. James earns $500 a month. David earns $5,000 a month. At first, you might think the biggest difference between them is simply that David has 10 times more money. But that's not the whole story, because when you don't have enough money, everything can become more expensive. And that's the hidden cost of being poor. James has a car worth $3,000. One morning, the car breaks down. The repair costs $300. James doesn't have $300 available, so he borrows the money. He agrees to pay back $360. The repair itself costs $300. But because James didn't have the cash, the problem eventually costs him $60 more. Now imagine this happening again and again and again. Being short of money can make ordinary problems more expensive. Now let's look at something else. James needs a washing machine. He sees two options. One costs $500, another costs $250. James chooses the cheaper one. It seems like a smart decision, but after 1 year, the cheap machine breaks. He buys another, then another. Eventually, he spends $750. Meanwhile, someone who could afford the $500 machine might still be using theirs years later. This doesn't mean expensive products are always better. It means that having more financial breathing room gives you more choices. Now imagine two people buying food. David has enough savings to buy a large package of rice when it's on sale. James can only afford a small package every few days. The larger package costs less per kilogram. James may actually pay more over time simply because he can't afford to buy in larger quantities. This is one of the strange realities of poverty. Sometimes you need money to save money. Then something unexpected happens. A medical bill, a broken phone, a family emergency, a missed paycheck. For someone with savings, it might be an inconvenience. For someone living paycheck to paycheck, it can become a financial crisis. A $200 emergency can turn into a $300 loan. Then the loan creates monthly repayments. Those repayments reduce the money available for the next month's expenses. And suddenly, one small problem creates another. This is where things can become dangerous financially. You borrow money to solve today's problem, then next month you borrow again to cover the repayment. Then you borrow again. The debt begins feeding itself. And less money you have available, the harder it becomes to escape. This is why high interest debt can be so destructive. The person with the least financial flexibility can end up paying the most for access to money. There's another hidden cost we don't talk about. Time. When you don't have money, you often have fewer options. You might spend hours looking for the cheapest service, travel further to find cheaper products, wait longer for public transportation, deal with paperwork yourself instead of paying for help. None of these things necessarily cost much money, but they can cost something else, your time. And time is one resource you can never get back. Put all these things together: low income, no savings, unexpected expenses, expensive borrowing, higher costs, less free time, and few opportunities to invest. It can create a cycle. And this is why simply telling someone, just save more money, can be much easier said than done. But here's the important part. This cycle isn't necessarily permanent. The goal isn't to become rich overnight. The first goal is to create financial breathing room. Start with a small emergency fund, reduce expensive debt, increase your income where possible, avoid lifestyle inflation when your income increases, and gradually start owning assets that can grow and produce income. Even small improvements can change the direction of your financial life. The biggest advantage wealthy people often have isn't simply that they can buy more things, it's that money gives them options. They can handle emergencies without immediately borrowing. They can buy in larger quantities. They can wait for better opportunities. They can invest. They can take calculated risks. And perhaps most importantly, they can afford to make decisions based on the long term instead of simply surviving next week. So the hidden cost of being poor isn't just having less money. It's that a lack of money can make the life more expensive, more stressful, and sometimes more difficult to escape from. But financial freedom doesn't begin when you become a millionaire. It begins when you create your first bit of breathing room, then another, until eventually your money starts giving you more choices instead of few. Don't just work for money. Build a system where money can eventually work for you. If this video changed the way you think about money, share it with someone who needs it. And remember, being broke is expensive. Building financial freedom